You are listening to the Workbench After Hours podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to the Second Amendment, where we talk about firearms, everything going on in the gun community, and we even try a different whiskey every week. In this week's episode, we talk about the recently launched website for Extreme Risk Protection Orders, which ultimately creates a national red flag center. 21 states are part of ERPO, and the vice president is spending $750 million to take away your guns without due process. While we talk about all this, we try Bullet Bourbon Single Barrel. Well, yeah, so welcome to episode 109 of the Workbench After Hours podcast. Chris is here with me, and he's going to tell us about the whiskey we're going to try.
We are trying Bullet Bourbon Single Barrel. So we've had regular Bullet, and we've had their 10-year. Pretty impressed with them. So cool. Single Barrel should be interesting.
Yeah.
And it's, I think it said 104 proof. Yep, 104 proof. So let's see.
Yeah, so far everything we've tried from them, we've really liked.
Yeah.
Their 10-year was really, really good.
Yeah, especially for the price.
Yeah, and I found this for like 35-ish bucks.
Yeah.
So the one place that he found it at wanted like 50-something for it.
They wanted 80.
Oh, for the single barrel?
For the single barrel, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, let me go out to the car real quick and let me check.
Yeah, no, I found it for much cheaper.
Yeah.
At a more reasonable price, so. Yeah.
You can definitely get that oak smell.
Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing this is just like regular Bullet Bourbon, only from a single barrel.
Yeah.
Couldn't find anything on the website about it, but
they didn't even list it.
Yeah. It looks like it's labeled kind of like their 10-year was.
Yeah,
with that little black label down there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's smooth.
Yeah. It's really
single
good.
Barrel's really smooth.
Single barrels are always hit and miss, obviously, because it's going to be different from
barrel to barrel.
But this one's pretty good.
Yeah, it's got like a little sweetness to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, you really can't tell it's at 104.
No.
Proof.
No, you get a little bit of burn, but not crazy amount of it. But it's got like a real sweet, like honey almost flavor to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I definitely recommend anything Bullet. Like I said, we've tried them all. The 10 year is really good. It's a little more expensive than the regular, but always good. And it's always.
Wow. I'm really impressed with this one.
Yeah. I've never seen the single barrel until I came across it like you called me, like we talked, and I'm like, hey, I'm up here. And surprising that they're starting to show up. So
sweet.
Yeah.
Might have to add that one to the collection.
Why not?
Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah. So Chris had a whiskey tasting because his wife wants him to get rid of bottles because he's got a bunch.
Yeah.
And so he had a whiskey tasting party. I don't think we emptied a single bottle.
One bottle, and it was my Blanton's.
Was it? Oh, yeah.
The Jack Daniel's Sinatra, probably should not have taken it upstairs because I've only got like a quarter of it left. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, okay, you want to have a whiskey tasting, that's fine, but you pulled out a bunch.
Yeah, I did.
And so it's like, all right, we're going to go through just a little bit of each one. So we're going to help you get rid of it, but you're still going to have...
Yeah, there's probably 40 bottles down there that we tried.
Mm-hmm. And I completely forgot that we had this on the podcast, that...
the Redwood Empire Pipe Dream.
Apparently we really liked it so much that I probably drank too much of it and forgot.
Yeah, that wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah. It's hard to keep track because we've tried so many whiskeys that...
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's hard to... Like, did I try that? I forgot you had the monkey shoulder, which we really liked, and I tried that again, and I'm like, I forgot all about this.
Yeah.
Because you don't see it or hear about it that much, but...
It's also a scotch.
Yeah.
So...
It was good.
Yeah, got to go down that scotch aisle to find it.
Yep. But yeah, so a little whiskey talk for you. So yeah, I'm going to see what this tastes like on the rocks. It's probably going to make it a little bit more sweeter.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good, though. I would drink that neat all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Any time of the year. That isn't just like a winter.
Yeah, it's bringing out the more sweetness.
Yeah.
But it's still good. So this week, I'm sure you guys have probably heard so far, or if you haven't, you will. You know, Biden introduced that Gun Safety Act. I forget the actual name of it, but the Gun Prevention Safety Act or whatever. And what they're trying to do with that is do a bunch of gun control. He kind of had Kamala Harris take over that, and she's like in charge of all this gun stuff, which sucks. And they recently launched basically what is a national red flag center,
Ugh.
which is, and we'll get into it, ridiculous. And how easy it is for anybody to just go up and do it.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. So she did a speech. I watched kind of some of it. She is so hard to listen to.
Yeah, I can't listen to her. She sounds like, I don't know, like a disease almost.
Right. Like, I hate listening to Biden, but her, I mean, she just is a terrible public speaker.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe that's just the way she talks, but yeah. So with this, so it's called the National Extreme Risk Protection Order Resource Center, ERPO for short. So I'm actually going to share my screen here real quick with you so you can see what the actual website looks like. And this is recently launched by the government. So it is in conjunction with John Hopkins. So, but what this is essentially doing is the 21 states, there are 21 states that have
Red flag
laws. And I'll show those here in a minute, but it's really no surprise which ones are on that list. There's like one I was a little bit surprised on, but she is pushing, and in her speech, she's like, yeah, we have 21 states that are part of this red flag law. We want to push for everybody. And they're trying to give incentives. And she recently said that they are actually putting $750 million allocating towards this resource center that they put together, which...
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. And so they're basically taking our tax dollars and using it to...
De-arm us.
Exactly.
Unconstitutionally.
So, yes. So yeah, so this is a resource center that is the 21 states. And I will bring that up on the screen here again. And we can kind of go through it because it's scary how easy it is for anybody to do this. And yeah, so basically you come down here and it says... You know, as of March 24th, that there's 21 states plus DC that have the red flag laws. And they go over on how this is going to prevent gun crime and all this stuff. And no, it really isn't. It's like, yeah. So here's a map. So what you do is you basically just go here, select your state. Obviously, your state has to be listed so you can report this. Luckily for us, Chris and I, Kansas and Missouri isn't on here.
Thank God.
And I mean, a lot of these, it's like a no-brainer because they're super strict. California, Colorado. You know, we just did a podcast not that long ago. It looks like Colorado's...
yeah, they're going after everything.
It sounds like that they are... We did that... What was it? The assault weapons ban podcast. I forget what the bill was, but it's looking like that is for sure going to pass. So if you do live in Colorado, I would start stocking up on... assault weapons and everything related on there because and it didn't say anything about a grandfather clause or anything in there.
It didn't say anything about it.
Yeah. So stock up, and it's going to take, even if it passes, you know, there's always going to be the gun groups that are going to fight that, but it's going to be years before that can get changed. Yeah. So Colorado's beautiful, awesome, a lot of hunters that go out there and stuff, but
not for much longer.
Exactly.
They're going to lose money that way.
Oh yeah. So check that out. So I'm surprised Colorado's on this. Well, now I'm not surprised Colorado's on this list. But the one I was kind of like, wow, really? Florida.
Yeah, Florida and Minnesota.
Yeah. Michigan. I mean, usually you don't see too lot in those states. You know, you got the New York, New Jersey.
Pretty much the East Coast.
Oregon, yeah, all the East Coast and then the
West Coast.
Pacific over there. But, yeah, so if you're a part of any of these states... then you can actually just go on here and I'm going to share my screen again. And it actually shows you who is allowed to do it. And let me...
So could we go right now on here and like say Biden?
This is what I was wondering is, because I was going to be like, oh, let's do one for Chris, but Kansas isn't one of them, so we can't. But there are certain people or organizations that can actually submit these red flag law things, and obviously you have law enforcement that can do this. You have judicial officers. The big one here is family and household members. Because if you and someone you live with have a fight, you know, gets ugly, they can just be like, oh, my husband or my wife has guns and we just had a fight. I'm scared. So they can go on here, fill this out, and you have no idea that this is being done and that they're going to come confiscate your guns until they show up at your door with guns to take your guns.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea. You're never notified of this.
Pain to get them back.
It is. And each state, and I'll kind of show you here, but each state's different on what you do and the amount of days that your guns are taken and, up to the years that they're taken away from. So right now in 16 states, the family members and household members are eligible to petition for this. So that's a big one because, if you get in a fight with somebody, you just don't like somebody and they have guns, and you can just get on here and have them taken away without due process. And then you have ones with like physicians or anybody in a clinical area that can do it. That's probably like if they're
house sitting or something.
This guy's like got a little things going on when he visited the doctor, so they can report that. Attorneys. And then another one that can be pretty much anybody in the government, social service providers are another one. So these are the people or groups that can actually enact this against you if they feel the need to. And it says there's a due process on here, but there really isn't. Honestly, when you do these, when they do it, like you have no idea.
Yeah.
And we'll go over some of the amendments that this breaks because it's not just the First Amendment.
Oh no, there's several.
Yeah. So so this whole thing is just a national red flag database that they can just come and take away your guns.
That's crazy and scary and unconstitutional.
Yeah. And like I said, again, you're not notified about this. Like you have no idea this is going on until the police or whoever it is.
It's a surprise birthday party, pretty much.
Right. And the bad thing is, so they show up at your house with guns to take your guns.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a pleasant experience for anybody.
Oh, no.
That's going to be a surprise. And it's like, wait, first of all, most people that own guns own more than one.
Yep.
They are not cheap.
No.
Guns are super expensive, and they're just going to take them, and you're probably not ever going to get them back, even though it says, you will.
I wonder, like, some people with insurance and stuff, if that would cover that.
No. Insurance
Really?
policies don't cover that because it's technically, it wouldn't be considered theft.
Well,
and even if so,
I would think it would be if they come on there unconstitutional with no warrant or nothing. That's technically theft.
you'd have a hard time proving that, but yeah, I mean,
because it's unconstitutional what they're doing.
a lot of homeowners insurance policies also have a low limit initially on the base policies for firearms.
Yeah.
Unless you get an ad coverage.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's a good thought, but I don't think an insurance company would be like, yeah, that's theft. Because it's taken by, because they have a warrant at this point. They have a warrant to take those guns.
Yeah.
So I don't think that would be considered theft. But, it is. But from an insurance standpoint, I don't think it would be. So, yeah. But the amendments that this breaks and goes against, obviously the Second Amendment, because it takes away our right to protect ourselves. You're not you are not a felon or anything like that. You're a law-abiding citizen, owns guns, and then they just come and take them. So that violates your right to protect yourself against these people that are taking your guns. Also, the Fourth Amendment, because the Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures, which this is. And so it violates the Fourth Amendment right there. And then the Fifth Amendment has what's called the Takings Clause. And so it says they can't take your possessions without giving you anything back. So in this scenario, I forget the way it worded it, but that's essentially what it is. They can't come and take your stuff without giving you anything in monetary return. And in this case, they're just taking your stuff, and they're not even giving you those Walmart gift cards.
Well, at that point, I wonder if you can start charging them. Like, okay, you took this much in value. For every day that you have it without giving me anything, I'm going to charge you 25% interest.
You're never going to get that out of the government, kid.
If you go to jail, you can take them.
And then the Sixth Amendment. Yeah. The Sixth Amendment gives you, a speedy trial, public trial. You're informed on your charges, which you're not informed until they're there to take your stuff.
Yeah,
so you don't have a like you can't defend yourself and be like, hey, wait a
Yeah.
minute. And then, you know, they don't allow you to confront whoever did this. Well, and part of the Sixth Amendment is to confront the witness doing this against you.
Especially if it's in your own household.
Right.
Like you're saying I can't confront you. That would cost probably a lot of marriages to go out the door right there.
Oh, God. So we're at least 4 amendments that this is breaking.
Oh, yeah.
No surprise there. But, yeah, so it's... And this is live. Like, this isn't like, oh, this is something that they're thinking about passing. This is...
Already going into effect.
Yes, it already is. So on the website, it says there's a due process protections that include rights of notice and in-person hearing, which the notice you're served when they're there.
An unbiased
Adjudicator. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Known opposing evidence, present evidence, confront adverse witness, and
Well,
then
there shouldn't be
represented by
any
counsel.
present evidence if they took everything.
Right. So it says on their website, but yeah, it's not really the one. And so they're offering training to all those people that are able to enforce this and all that. Yeah,
It's probably part of that $750 million they're putting into it.
Yeah, God, $750 million.
I mean, they gave away a lot more guns under their gun control.
Yeah, and so when you go in state by state, go back to the share screen here. So it will actually tell you like some of the laws. And luckily, if you select like Nebraska doesn't have it,
Kansas doesn't.
Yep,
Oklahoma doesn't.
all the gun friendly states don't have it. But say we go over here to California. If you all the states that have it, you click in it, and then it gives all its specific laws. I guess you would say
Laws and probably procedures and
yes.
everything.
And each state has a different order type, the duration and burden of proof, and then all this stuff. So with California, you know, you're 21 days max, but then, I mean, the final order, you can get up to 1 to 5 years.
Jesus.
And factors to consider is different by each state. So, you know, if you threaten acts of violence towards yourself or other people, bam, that's a fact to consider that they can, you know, come do this. And let's see. So that's
History of violence. How would they prove that?
right. So let's go to Florida because see what Florida has. So Florida is a max 14 days and up to 1 year. So they have a lot less
Yeah.
stuff. And then who can petition for ERPO? It's just law enforcement. So
That's probably good.
yeah. So Florida's on here, but luckily
It's not
family
everyone.
members can't go do this. It's just law enforcement only. So it's going to be different state by state. And so if you go in there, obviously they'll.
I wonder
they'll
though,
show
like
you.
let's say you do have someone in your family that's law enforcement, and they come take it. Wouldn't that be kind of like a double standard almost?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and then Hawaii, I mean, they're pretty anti-gun too. So they have pretty much all those people can do it. Burden of proof. All you need is probable cause.
That's crazy.
Yes. So that's
So here's my question, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say someone's lying, so they just come and take your stuff. I think there should be a penalty on those people reporting it too. Like, what is theirs? Like, if they get caught saying that they falsified everything, what is their max penalty and all that? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
I think it should be more than what they're trying to do.
Oh yeah.
I think it should be like 10, 15 years. That like really like, you sure? Or are you just mad and in the heat of the moment? Need that cool down period.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns with this. But unfortunately, from what has been out there with red flag laws is most of the time you don't get your guns back.
That's crazy.
Yes. And I mean, especially in those states, they're so anti-gun anyway.
Yeah.
If somebody files this against you and then you try and plead your case, I mean, it says that they're going to have, you know, non-biased opinions on it and people like non-biased jurors, but everybody in that state's already like, yeah,
They've already
guns are
got an
bad.
opinion on it.
Yeah. So I don't know how you can say that, you know, it's going to be unbiased opinions because look at the news. Everybody's watching the news and they see how guns are bad and
Yeah,
all this
that's
stuff.
media. Have you watched media lately?
Right.
Nope. All right.
Yeah. So that's
That's crazy.
yeah.
Red flag laws need to go away.
Yeah, well, look, yeah. I mean, not surprised with those states, but as long as, because she's, again, in her speech, she was trying to get all these other states to do it and all these incentives. And
Yeah, screw those.
let's hope not. The voting season's coming up, luckily. So there were, so when this the whole red flag law thing came about, there was a vote on it in the House, and obviously all the Democrats voted for it. And there were even Republicans that voted for it. So those Republicans
Are not real Republicans.
need to watch out because, that's
Yeah.
not good.
I don't understand how they can get away with this. It's unconstitutional. Like, they should have to go and do things the right way. And this is very unconstitutional.
Yeah, so I would assume now that this is launched, you're going to start seeing more stories. And there was a news story, like a clip of it I watched on, I think, Hollow and the Worst channel. But the police were showing up to serve a red flag law order. So they were showing up for a warrant. And I forgot where this was. It's one of these 21 states anyway. But police showed up and the homeowner answered the door. And he had a gun because he's like, what the hell's going on? He ended up putting the gun down. But once they were like, hey, we're here to take your guns, that's when he picked his gun up. And then something happened and he shot it. And luckily it didn't hit anybody. But then once, obviously, his gun went off, then the cops shot and killed him.
So whoever reported him just caused the police to murder someone.
He's dead now because somebody reported that.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, there's a lot of people out there that will not. They will die.
Well,
like
some
that.
of these states, I bet, have like a stand your ground rule. I know, like we do here in Kansas, we have the castle rule.
Yeah, and I think Florida has one too, but they have this red flag thing. So I don't know.
I don't know how that would work.
I'm assuming if cops are serving a warrant.
But the thing is, like, there's no physical proof yet. Someone reported you at that point. So you could technically stand your ground. Yeah,
it depends on the situation. Like, maybe they did have proof, like a video of the guy going off and threatening somebody. That's the proof. It's going to be different state by state by what you need to prove, but yeah. But you're going to start seeing a lot more of that type of stuff. Like, people, when the government comes up and shows up and, hey, we're going to take your guns, there's going to be instances like that. Like, no, you're not taking my guns. Like, and then you're unfortunately probably going to see people like that guy dying or officers dying too. I mean, it can get,
because you don't know what people have or what they're capable of.
And there's been a lot of people I hear at gun shows and stuff like, hey, you got to pry it from my cold dead hands. And then they're, some people probably won't do that, but I mean, there's other people that are like, no, it's
you ain't touching it.
Yeah.
That's my Second Amendment, and that's my right to have this. You can't take that away.
What I want to know is, a lot of us have gun safes. So if all of your guns are in a gun safe locked, bolted to the ground, they come in, and you refuse to open that safe, what happens?
They're probably going to have to try to cut it open.
There was that one thing that we talked about, I forgot what podcast it was, but where the safe company actually gave the police the code.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's what they'll have to do is if the police will have to reach out to the Liberty Safes or whatever and be like, hey,
a master reset.
Yeah, be like, hey, we're here serving this warrant to take these guys' guns. He won't
cooperate or
give us the.
See, if I was a safe company, what are you there for? Is it an actual warrant for a murder or something like that, or is this a red flag issue? Because if it's a red flag issue, go screw yourself.
Or I mean, and then that's probably going to take time. Say that safe company is like, yeah, no, we need to see a warrant, or you need to.
You actually have to give us the warrant.
Give us something before we.
And we have to verify the serial number that was bought.
Right.
All that. I'd be all about that.
So that's not going to happen in one day. So then, what happens between that time frame? Like, do the police take that guy into custody until they
I don't know. That, or like, do they try to unbolt or take the safe with them? Because who knows what's in some of these safes,
Can you? God, that would suck. Like if your safe is bolted to the ground and then they try and like strap it to something and
Well, not even that.
take
Let's
it,
say like an actual room.
like a safe room.
Yeah, and it's got a big door. What are they
Yeah.
gonna do?
Yeah, or like if it's the collectors in
Yeah.
like his safe room and
Jesus.
like if it's like a secure like bank vault door
Yeah.
to where you can't just call up like Liberty Safes and be
yeah.
like, hey, let us in. Like, yeah, what do you
What do you do at that point?
good for the homeowner
Yeah,
on that.
that's almost making me think.
Yeah, what is the police going to do at that point?
Yeah,
I would assume that they would take you into custody until they
yeah, can get in
access.
there. Well, good luck getting access.
Yeah, I would like.
You need biometrics. You need blood type.
And then what happens, because there's those maximum days
Yeah.
per state? It's like, okay, so what happens once that?
So you go past that 21 days. I've been in your custody now. I can get you for unlawful detainment and everything else.
Yeah,
Loss of job, everything, and start
There's a
suing
lot of-
police and government.
there's a lot of what ifs
Yeah.
scenarios and stuff like that, but none of it's good.
No, it's not.
I mean, there are some people that probably shouldn't own guns.
Yeah. But the
And-
problem is, just read that, like when we were talking about like mental health being an issue, and we were going through like, it is the medical provider's job to report that to their local law enforcement. That doesn't happen, obviously, because look at all these mass shootings that happen. Like, oh, they have prior issues, and they came back. Then the police have talked to them, but nothing was done. So why aren't they going after that at that point?
Right.
I mean, you're playing a double standard here. So I don't agree with it.
What would you do? Say, because they won't, I'm sure that they're not going to tell you, hey, it was so-and-so that reported you right away. But say the police show up at your house with their guns and they're like, we're here to take yours.
Good luck. I don't remember the combination.
Unfortunately, yours isn't
Yeah.
bolted down,
No, but it's
It's
still
heavier
heavy
than
as shit. Because it's also got all the ammo in there too.
right?
It's gonna be like 500-600 pounds. And then if they take it out of my house and cause damage, I'm sure they're gonna be held reliable. So that's another thing they're gonna have to think about.
Right.
Do you really want to pull a safe out of someone's house and have potentially tear up their carpet, their stairs?
I wonder if it would get to that point to where if you refuse to open your safe, are they going to take your safe?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if that's the case.
That'd almost have to be. And then, like, so let's say it is bolted.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? Cut it out of my floors? Now you got to redo the concrete. So when I do get this stuff back, you now have to pay for that.
You know how hard it would be, say, whether it's in your basement or your garage. I mean, those anchors are usually like 6 inches down into the concrete. You know how hard it is?
That, and hopefully they didn't glue them too. It was like a super, and
That-
then Loctite it.
It would be so hard to get out.
Yeah.
And then once you do, I mean, you're damaging the hell out of that concrete.
Yeah, now you got to go, and then they're going to have to pay for it, I would think.
But how would you do that? Like, say it's in somebody's basement.
Yeah.
How are you gonna? And it's up against a wall,
Yeah.
and so
It's going to be heavy.
It's gonna be heavy, but you gotta have something crazy strong, like one of those SWAT vehicles or a tank, to wrap a chain around and try and pull that sucker out.
Yeah, but you're going to cause damage doing
I
that.
know.
And then you're going to be held reliable because you caused that damage.
It would. I don't know. Yeah, I'm interested to see,
Because I'm pretty sure a lot of these police departments and stuff don't have the insurance to cover stuff like that.
or the means to take out a safe like that.
Yeah.
Or yeah, maybe they will just cut into it.
Yeah.
That might be a little bit easier than trying
But
to
if
pull
they
it.
cut into it, then let's say you come back and you didn't get convicted, they got to replace that safe then too. I mean, safes aren't cheap.
Right.
On what average, $500-$600 for just a basic line model, pretty much.
Yeah.
Who's to say you don't have like a $30,000 safe or something crazy?
Yeah.
Do they really want to replace that?
I don't know. There's a lot of questions on that
Yeah.
ERPO thing, but yeah, it's not good.
No.
It is basically a national red flag center. And
Yeah. That is ridiculous.
violates the
Second Amendment, for sure.
Violates Second, Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment in one form or the other.
Wow. That is nuts. How many amendments can we break?
Right? Exactly. A lot, because it's
It's crazy that the government can get away with this shit, but we can't. That's what just floors me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but yeah, so
yeah,
that's that. Not looking good for those 21 states.
Hopefully, no other states join.
I was hoping just for a second Kansas was, because I would file one against Chris just to see what happened.
No, fuck you.
Like, oh, he's on here threatening that he wouldn't do it.
I would return the favor.
DC is on it. Why don't we do one for Biden?
That's what I was thinking. Biden and Kamala.
He has threatened us with an F-16, technically.
Yeah. Yes, he has.
He's like, because...
they all have, technically.
Right.
We will stand up and we will fight.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, you need an F-16 to take on the government.
That's a threat.
Yeah. So can we go on there and be like, oh, because he's in D.C.?
Yeah.
Or do you have to go with his home state?
I don't...
What's his home state?
D.C.
Delaware?
is what I'd go with. Let's see what D.C. is.
So, District of Columbia. We'll put this up here. See if can we file a red flag law against
funny.
Joe Biden
And Kamala.
Yeah. So who can
Family
do it?
member.
Law enforcement.
People with a child in common, domestic and dating partners.
People collaborating. I mean.
I mean, he's collaborating with us all because we're all U.S. citizens,
Burden
right?
proof is just probable cause.
Yep.
All right. Or should we do one against Kamala Harris?
I think we should do both.
Right. Yeah.
They both have threatened to take people's guns for no reason.
So I wonder, all right, from here, what do you do, though? Like, is there a number you call or what?
It says, take me to the additional... Oh, that's just additional state resources.
And that's that. Huh. Maybe you have... I don't know. See what this is.
I just talked about that.
Hmm.
I don't know. That'd be interesting.
I don't know. But we should get a bunch
of... there's a hotline number.
Maybe that's what you got to call it. It's a hotline number. We'll call. Like, yeah, there's a guy named Joseph Biden that... Oh, we could do it against his son.
Hunter Biden.
Yes.
He illegal has guns, and he's been threatening, and he's coercing with other governments. And he's threatened if I tell anybody, he will shoot me.
But like, hey, he lied on a form.
Yeah.
You know, that
where's his jail time?
Right? Exactly.
Where's his fine?
Red flag law against him. Man.
Do all their family members.
And I saw a graph chart somewhere about, you know, this is why they're doing it, because the number of people in each Democratic Party, in each party, that owned at least one gun, and it's gone up over the years. And there's even more Democrats now owning more than one gun. And obviously the Republicans were high. And so I think that's another reason that they're trying to do all these.
This smells like communism to me. Just gonna say it.
You mean, it sounds like the state of California?
Yeah.
How they run things over there?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like communism because they're trying to take control of our amendments and our rights. And this is a way to do it. So they are now a tyrannical government.
Yep. Can we do one against the government? Be like, hey, we're just going to do the United States of America.
I don't know.
A red flag against the ATF.
Military, everybody.
We'll just do one against the ATF.
They've threatened to take guns because they look scary. They don't even know the difference between a M4 and...
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen we didn't do a podcast on this. It was just a random video,
reaction,
which should have been a podcast.
Yeah.
It ended up, I thought it was going to take like 20 minutes. It ended up taking like 50 minutes.
It was almost an hour.
We did a reaction video to the head of the ATF director, and their firearms expert trying to explain guns to this reporter. And it was so
comical.
That's why I did a video. I'm like, I can't not do a video. It's so bad.
Yeah.
The firearms expert is not an expert.
No.
Like, even him, he couldn't take down a Glock. He couldn't put the Glock together. I know there's the whole on-camera nervousness thing and everything goes wrong.
Still.
But we did one. I did it on camera, and it was fine. So check that video out. It came out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. On there. Yeah, it's on the YouTube channel, Boomstick Tactical LLC, which you're probably watching now. But yeah, it's comical. You don't have to watch the whole thing, just kind of skim through it. But it's like, wow, these are the people that are
in charge,
supposedly enforcing the laws enacted by Congress is what he says, but then it's like, no, you're also
making up your own
by
laws.
doing these.
Yeah.
What were they called? The
which one?
Final rules or whatever. Yeah, he's like, it's funny because you ask him a bunch of questions and he's like, oh well, we only go by what Congress says.
But
all these final rules you're doing has nothing. You bypass Congress.
Yeah, you never went to Congress to talk to
but they
them.
never mentioned that.
No, they didn't.
And she probably didn't know enough to ask those questions or aware of any of that. But it's just the fact that
I would love. Wouldn't you love for like a reporter to be like a heavy duty like 2A person, and they reported on it that person
like calling the war?
Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Because he was not only is a huge gun advocate, but he was a lawyer.
Yeah.
So he can
destroy them.
Yeah, he would destroy.
That'd be fun to watch.
Yes, but they would never have him.
Oh, they'd be too scared.
Oh yeah, any mainstream media will never.
Yeah.
He's been on like Fox News, but they lean a little more right than a lot of the other newscasts. So yeah, they're all the other ones. They're never gonna have somebody that knows what they're talking about on.
Yeah.
just like we talked about that Jon Stewart interviewed some.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I forgot what the guy was.
Yeah, but he wouldn't even let the guy talk.
Yeah, he was like a state.
Yeah,
something for the state, but he was pro gun, and Jon Stewart was interviewing him, and basically would not let the guy
speak at all.
He would ask him a question, and then he would start talking, and then he'd be like, "Oh well, this and this." And dude, I hate Jon Stewart for that reason. It's like, dude, he is so anti-guns. It's like, dude, you want to have a conversation with the other side, but you're really not. Anytime like the guy tried to say something, he would try and
cut him off and
make him seem like he's saying something else, like putting words in. It's like, no, like
he didn't say that. He didn't. You're
No.
putting words in his mouth now.
Yeah,
Thanks.
like let him talk. You're cutting him off. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, that's politics.
Yes, it is. I would never want to get into politics.
I do and I don't. Just to help the American people is the only reason I would do it, but that would never happen because I don't have enough money.
Exactly. You have to have a lot of money.
That's crazy.
Yes.
You know, if we were smart as Americans, we got all these social media sites. We should all like go in there and do a write-in ballot and nominate someone, just like how they played with the AMC stocks back like 2-3 years ago and all that.
Oh, GameStop?
Yeah. They should do that, but with like the election, just to prove a point.
Man, I wish. Did you watch that movie about the GameStop thing?
I didn't watch it, no.
I wish I would have paid attention to the stock market and gotten in on that.
That and AMC and all of it, yeah.
I'm like, man, because a lot of people were like, oh, the big thing was don't sell.
Yeah.
I would have been like, fuck it. I got all this money. I'm selling.
Yeah.
Like, screw that. Like,
I'm retiring.
I've made $100,000 or more. Yeah, I'm selling. Screw you guys.
Yeah, I'm taking the money.
And there's people that didn't sell and they lost a lot of money.
Yeah, but who knows what they bought it at too? Because if they bought low enough, they're probably still ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to watch it. It's really good. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be stupid. But it was really, interesting. I'm like, oh, man, I wish I knew that was going on at the time. I'm like, because I mean, it just went up.
Yeah, it just shows you how you can manipulate the stock market. So
yes, I need to learn how to do that.
Takes a lot of money.
Yes,
and a lot of people talking and all on the same page.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. We will probably post this as a regular episode and do an audio only for the podcast as well on Spotify, since this is technically episode 109. So that'll probably go up this weekend. If you guys, I know a lot of people only listen to audio only. Me too. I mean, I'm like, since I have YouTube Premium, I'll listen to podcasts on YouTube, but I like put it in my pocket and just kind of listen to it. We appreciate you watching on YouTube because it helps the channel. So
yeah,
if you guys have any questions, let us know down in the comment section. Well, Chris, we're going to wrap up this live stream. So what do you got to say?
Remember, this is a YouTube podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and tickle that bell. If you're listening on any of those platforms, please hit that follow. With that, everyone, have a good one.